Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So we are going to do a practice question on a data analysis. This is question 11 on the 2017 release questions. And for this one, we have what statistical measure changes when every number in a data set is increased by 10? Well, right away, I'm like, oh my goodness, statistical measure change, what does that mean? But I don't see any numbers here. So this is where you can kind of use your imagination and come up with your own data set to see what's going to change when you do increase by 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the Desmos calculator. So you're going to access that right up here. And I'm going to just make up a set of data. Now, for me, the first thing that comes to mind are the ages of the people in my family. So I'm going to go up to the plus sign. And I'm like, well, my initial numbers are going to be the ages of everyone that lives in my home. So there's 35, 35, 9, and 4. So that is my initial data that I'm putting in that X1 column. Now, if you remember, it says what is going to be affected when these numbers are increased by 10. So in my second column, that Y1 column, I'm just going to add 10 to those values. So 35 plus 10, 45, 35 plus 10, 45, 9 plus 10, 19, and 4 plus 10, 14. Now we get to use the nifty little functions to help us define what's going to be happening with the range, the mean, the standard deviation, and the interquartile range. Now let's start with range. Now the range isn't as fancy as the mean, but just remember the range is always going to be your largest number minus your smallest number. So in X1, we can see that our range is going to be 35 minus 4. So our range is going to be 31. For Y1, when we added the 10, our largest number is the 45. Our smallest number is the 14. So I'm just going to do 45 minus 14. You can see that the range is not changed when we increase our numbers by 10. So I'm going to show you another little feature that you can use. When you have eliminated an option in the little hamburger icon, there's going to be something that will say strike through. So when you click on it, I'm like, well, I know that range is not an option. I'm going to go ahead and strike through that. And I'm going to move on to mean. So when I move on to mean, this is where we get to get really fancy with the calculator. So I know that my range has not been changed, so now I'm going to check it out for mean. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel those out just to give me some more space. And don't forget about this functions button right here. So with this functions button, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And remember the stats, we're looking at the statistical measures. So I'm going to click on that stats button to access those magical buttons. And right away we see mean. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the mean for my X1 column. So mean for X1 is 20.75. So let's go ahead and see what the mean for my Y1 column would be when I added 10. So I'm going to go to functions. Stats is already selected for me. I'm going to click mean and Y1. Ooh, that has increased. So unlike range, where the range did not change at all, we can see that the mean did change. So right away, that's a pretty good indicator that that's the correct answer. Now, if you just wanted to kind of go through your options, the third option is standard deviation. We have not talked about standard deviation much at all in algebra, but there is a button that will help you to find standard deviation. And the standard deviation is kind of like the distance the number is away from the mean. So it's kind of similar to the range in a way. So to find the standard deviation, I'm going to go ahead and open up the keyboard. Functions, you're going to notice there's an STDEV for standard deviation. And I can do that for X1. I can see that that's 16.5806 and it goes on for a while. Then I can do the same thing for my Y1 column. And even though I don't know a ton about standard deviation, you can see that those values are the same. So you can tell that that was not affected by the increase by 10. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my question again. So I know standard deviation. I'm going to go ahead and go to my hamburger icon. I'm going to strike through. An interquartile range, well, that has range in it. We already know that the range isn't affected whether we're looking at the minimum to the maximum or that interquartile range, so that's not going to be affected either. So hamburger icon, strike through that one. So the only one that would make sense for this problem would be the mean, which is choice P. So hopefully that helps just to feel a little more comfortable using that Desmos calculator. Please check back with us next week for our next EOC YouTube video. And if you have any questions, let us know. Bye guys. Have a great day.